November 2nd edition of Trivia Tuesday right here on Twitch. This is the Signals from Mars Trivia Show. Hopefully we will have some people joining us tonight. We had Brad from Yarg Metal last week, and we had Metal Dan joining. So let's see if anyone dares to show up. So last week's episode was a lot of fun, was a lot funner than what I had expected. And we had a lot of different questions that I was able to throw out there. We were trying out different things. Today we are once again, I would say we're still trying stuff out, but got a slightly better handle on things than last week. I hope you guys will join us to so that I can do some trivia here. Sent the word out earlier today on the website and on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. So let's see if people heed the call. At the moment, do we have anyone? We have 0 viewers. Awesome. I will continue to hang out here and see what happens. We could start the questions, but there's no one here to start it with. Let's see. Trying to do that. Let's see if we can get more people in here. Is there anybody out there? Oh, we have one viewer, Metal Dan. Hey, Metal Dan, how are you, sir? You're the first person to join us today. Hope you are doing well. Hope it isn't... Okay, Twitch says going live. Okay. Well, I've been live. Let's see if it catches up here. Hopefully more people join in. Well, at least we'll put it this way. If you happen to... If you're here this week, for a future episode, you'll already know the questions and the answers. So it'll be an easier win for you. How about that? Let me send out the word saying that saying that we're live. Let's see. Okay. Well, hey, we have Yorg Metal. We have Metal Dan. Well, I have a totally different set of questions this week. So I'm going to wait till about... Yes, Motley Crue did have a dumb first band name. Yes, I agree. But, you know, I tried to mix it up with things that people may know and things that people may not know. So that's what I was trying to do there. Let me try and send out some smoke signals here. I'm gonna try to see. I'm gonna wait until like 15 after to see if we can get more people to jump on in. Not to say that you guys won't be kicking their ass, but you know, let's see what we can do. Let's see if we could set up some more competition for you guys. So, okay. So here we go. Let's share this. Now, speaking of Motley Crue names, what do you guys think about the Motley Crue 94 album with Corabi? Some people absolutely love it. Some people don't care for it. Should the band have changed their name at that point? Should it have been MC93 or should it have been something else to so that people would differentiate, you know, the between the two. I get it that from a marketing standpoint, it's obviously going to be easier to sell the band as Motley Crue than it will be to sell them as MC94 or similar. But, you know, just wondering what you guys think. All right, about to put the finishing touches on this last post here. Let's see if people hang on the brand. So Brad is saying that they did the right thing by using the Motley Crue name. I mean, you're always going to have people that are going to get uptight about that stuff, you know. So it's going to be damned if you do, damned if you don't. Okay, so Metal Dan is agreeing as well. The real question was, why was it not successful? I believe that it was not successful. Probably, there were a few things there. Did the label promote it outside of printing up 50 million copies of that album? I know that they printed up a ton of copies, but did they do anything else besides print copies? You know, did they actually like market anything out after the Hooligans holiday video. You know, it was one of these things where I don't know, could they have done more? You also have to think 94. The excuse is, well, you know, Motley Crue was no longer popular because of Nirvana and because of Pearl Jam and stuff like that, which I call bullshit on all the time, because never hurt Metallica, never hurt Guns N' Roses, didn't hurt Faith No More, didn't hurt, you know, there were a ton of hard rock metal bands that still persevered on. Were they at the level that Motley Crue reached or that Poison reached at one point? No, not at all. But it didn't mean that they couldn't be viable at doing things, you know? I think it was probably marketed incorrectly. Then when they went out on tour, I know that Karabi had problems with his vocal cords, so they had to, you know, cut things back. Then there's the whole thing where Nikki wore a swastika and made some, forget if it was homophobic or racial slurs towards somebody at a show. So, I mean, they did a bunch of things that they kind of torpedoed their own boat, basically. So, is it that the bulk of the fans were not able to move forward? That could be the case as well. You know, people are fickle. It's weird like that. You would think that with people being so loyal to hard rock and metal, and you think about like Iron Maiden or AC/DC or stuff like that. I don't recall, and maybe I was too small, but I don't recall Maiden fans making a big deal out of Adrian Smith coming into the band or Bruce Dickinson coming in. Obviously, I came on board like 2 or 3 years later, but it wasn't one of these things like with other bands where it just permeates for years. Or, oh, they suck now because so-and-so isn't in the band anymore. I think maybe in the early 80s, people were just more appreciative of bands putting out music, maybe. I don't know. So. Thank you, Metal Dan. For a shit sandwich of a day that I'm dealing with, reading that brings warmth to the inner cockles of my heart. So he flipped off Nikki in the front row in LA. He ignored me at the sports arena. Was there to see Faster Pussycat. Nikki's a guy that, I said this last week, the most functional junkie. There's never been another heroin addict that's been able to keep a diary for an entire year while living in a closet, scared of his own shadow. I've talked to so many people over the years who have talked about how a lot of the stuff in the dirt is fictitious. I mentioned that last week as well. So, well, anyway, it's roughly 15 after, and this is a new set of questions. So let me see here, because last week we didn't get to see your names. Let's see if it tells us. Okay. So it says, ask viewers to manage access by clicking the quiz kit icon. Let's see. See, I wish I could share my screen here. Maybe I can. I just don't know how to. Let me see draw mode. Let me copy this link. This link gives you instructions as to what you guys need to do. So apparently you need to click on the logo in the stream where it says Quiz Kit. Then you have to go to manage access and then you have to grant access. And that link I sent, it should tell you what to do. If you guys want to pop in there, let me know, and then I'll start when you guys tell me. Okay, so Brad granted access. Dan, let me know if you're trying to do the same. And then we'll take it from there. All right, you're ready as well. Let me just do one thing here. And by the way, the knocked loose comment earlier today, that was Chris Vaglio's pick. So I had to respect the fact that he actually submitted something. So I realized that that's not for everyone. And I realized that a lot of what, even the stuff that I post, I realized that there's a lot of stuff that even that I posted maybe people don't like. So it's cool to get everyone's opinion on things. All right. So yes, you guys are ready. It says everyone is afraid to take you guys on. Let's see, if I didn't screw up any questions this week. And let's see how you guys handle this stuff. All right. Which is the only Rainbow album Graham Bonnet sings on? Is it Difficult to Cure? Is it Shout at the Devil? Is it Down to Earth? Or is it Rainbow Rising? Which one of these did Graham Bonnet sing on? Let's see. Waiting for you guys to answer. All right. Down to Earth, you guys were right. Difficult to Cure, is that about Richie? Yeah, no kidding. Or about Jolin Turner's alopecia. How about that? All right. Next question. Or let's show the scores right off the bat. So Metal Dan is ahead by a little over 3,000 points. So is that right? Yeah. Let's go to the next question. Let's see. Tommy Lee did not play in which one of these bands? Rockstar Supernova, Motley Crue, Methods of Mayhem, or Crazy Town? Which of these bands did Tommy Lee not play in? All right. Let's reveal the answer here. Crazy Town. You guys both got that right. Awesome. You guys got the wrong answer right. Let's see the scores. Metal Dan is pulling slightly ahead here, so we're at like a 5,000 point difference with that. Let's see total. All right. Almost, a 9,000 point difference here? Okay. Okay, what is the name of the self-titled debut by Audioslave? Revelation, Audio Slave, Pure Rock Fury, or Out of Exile? Is this a trick question or is this an easy one? Okay. This is the, you guys both got it right. This was, what color was George Washington's white horse? Type of a question. Okay. Let's see the scores. Metal Dan is quick to pull the trigger once again. And let's see the total points here. Metal Dan is cruising ahead right now. All right. Tom Morello has not been a member of which of these bands? Rage Against the Machine, Prophets of Rage, Audio Slave, or Iced Earth? Which one of these was Tom Morello not a member of? Is it Rage Against the Machine? Was it Prophets of Rage? Was it Audio Slave? Was it Iced Earth? Let's reveal. And you guys both got this right. Once again. The correct answer is Iced Earth. The correct wrong answer. Let's see here. Metal Dan eked that one out, but still pulling away in the score here. At 69,275 to 54,329. All right. Let's hop on to the next question. Who did not play guitar in Thin Lizzy? Is it Midge Ure, Gary Moore, John Sykes, or Vivian Campbell? Now, I should have said who did not play for the original. Yeah, so I spelt that wrong. I knew it. Who did not play for the original Thin Lizzy when Phil Lynott was in the band? Is technically what I should have asked. Okay. So this is, yeah, you can't change it after we've answered. That is correct. Uh-oh. Brad, for you I must bust out Metal Dan. So Metal Dan is, yeah, you ate a midge sandwich. There you go. Metal Dan with 85,256 points to Brad's 37,340. All right. He stood in for Dr. Chud while Chud was trying out new singers in the Misfits. Frank Ferrer, Martin Adkins, Paul Ferguson, or Joel Gostin. And I will say that only one of these has ever guested on the Mars Attacks podcast. And that is the correct answer. This person has been on the show twice. So, let's see if you guys got it right. The correct answer is Joel Gostin. All right. Let's see the scores here. We have Brad. Oh, wait. I'll give you this, Brad.
And boom goes the dynamite.
Dan, I realize that this was a difficult one. We'll give you... There you go. Total scores. Still almost a 40,000 point difference here. About 37,000 points difference. Can they make up the difference within the next few questions? Okay, which one of these never played bass in Prong? Is it Monty Pittman? Is it Troy Gregory? Is it Paul Gray or Paul Raven? Which one of these gentlemen never played? And I want to send this out to Mr. Steve Hoker for coming aboard. All right, so the correct answer is Paul Raven, or I'm sorry, Paul Gray. One of you guys mentioned, or one of you guys selected Paul Raven. Paul Raven was part of Killing Joke. So only Metal Dan. Metal Dan has, he has some leeway. So he's still pulling ahead. So let's see here. Richard Patrick of Filter was in a band with Wes Borland of Limp Bizkit. What was their name? Nine Inch Nails, Drowning Pool, The Damning Well, or Tapeworm? For those that, again, follow the show, I asked Richard Patrick, before he ripped me off $100, about this years ago. And the correct answer was mentioned during that episode. Some of those songs, or that song was actually used in the first Underworld soundtrack. And other songs that were part of that soundtrack that Wes Borland wrote ended up being on his Blacklight Burns on the first solo album that he did. So, Tapeworm, which is a band that was rumored to have all these different people, like Trent Reznor of Nine Inch Nails, Tommy Victor of Prong fame, and Marilyn Manson and Rob Zombie. It was going to be like this supergroup of all these industrial hard rock and metal people. Metal Dan, once again, making things interesting here. Let's see. Which one of these was not a drummer in Judas Priest? Zach Starkey, Scott Travis, Dave Holland, or Les Binks? I think this one may be more up your guys' alley than the previous two. Let's see if anyone gets this one. So which one of these was not a drummer in Judas Priest? Let's reveal the answer. Both of you guys got the answer correct. It is Zach Starkey, who played with Adrian Smith in ASAP, Adrian Smith and Project. And he's also been playing with The Who for quite a few years. The son of Ringo Starr. So there you go. All right. Let's see the scores here. Oh, Brad squeaked this one out, but scores are still, there's still a 21,000 point difference. Metal Dan just got his points back. And yes, he's done a great job in The Who. Absolutely agree. Let's see. What's the only Nirvana song that Dave Grohl sung? Is it Everlong? Is it Big Sky? Is it Serve the Servants? Or is it Marigold? Yes, you can chat now, Mr. Hoker. Let's see. Did anyone? Let's reveal the answer here. Marigold. Only one of you guys responded. And let's see who it was. All right, so that was Metal Dan. Brad Dahl didn't answer. So that is actually, so I limited this down to 10. So I'm seeing that 10 questions took us roughly 15 minutes to do. Do you guys want to try another quiz? I've got another we could redo last week. Last week I split it up into various different quizzes. We could redo one of those, or we could do another set of questions that you guys haven't seen yet. If you guys are interested in doing another one, and maybe Steve can join if he wants as well. Yes, and we have to, for Metal Dan. Okay. That is good to know. Okay. I see how you're doing things there, Steve. All right. Kind of teasing us there. All right. Maybe we can get you another day. We'll see. Maybe we'll do this on a Friday night at some point. We'll see what happens. But so it is up to you guys, Dan and Brad. Do you guys want to try your hand at another quiz? Still love you too, Steve. Jeremy joined us late the other day, so I'm assuming he may be... More next week is okay for me. That's cool. That's fine. We can save the questions for next week. Yeah, no problem, Dan. Thank you for joining me here. Like I always say, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart, I really appreciate you guys spending time with me, especially it's during your work day. So so I do appreciate you guys hopping in here. There's a million things you guys can do, but you'd prefer to spend some time with me just for a few questions. And maybe this will be the thing. It'll be a 15-minute quiz show, and that's it. Maybe that's more than enough, because I also don't want to overstay my welcome. So Brad can only do three things. What do you mean you can only do three things? Explain yourself. Oh, well, what I mean is you have a million things to choose from that you could be doing during this time, but you choose to spend this past half hour with me. So, for that, I appreciate your time and your effort. And hopefully, you guys can come back next week. And Brad, we got to try to schedule something for this month. Well, the other day when I spoke to Gary Shea from Alcatraz, he had people ripping up his floor. I've had people doing work on Joey Vera's house, people doing work on John Bush's house. Blitz from Overkill spackling his chimney while I was speaking to him. So I'm used to having people doing all types of home renovations. Oh, new water heater. Yeah, that's a big deal. Do you mean euphemism that he was spackling his chimney? Is that a euphemism? Well, it's funny because he mentioned it when I started the interview. And as I'm editing the interview back, I hear this all of a sudden, like, what the hell's that noise? And then I saw him like a year later, and I'm like, oh shit, you weren't lying when you said you were spackling your chimney. I go, because I'm editing the interview and I'm hearing this like scraping sound. And it's and he got a good laugh out of it, so cool. I'm glad you're able to listen to both. Like I said, they're probably my two favorite people to interview. They're just great. And I think I mentioned this to Mark on his show, on the Patreon show, that I do think that I have a good enough rapport with the two of them that I can ask some questions that I can't ask other people. Like Joey, I asked a lot of like business related things, which I probably couldn't have done if it was with anyone else. But yeah, I do the same thing, Dan. A few years back, I really got into walking for health purposes, and with me trying to do stuff with the web development and with all the stuff that I'm trying to freelance with. I've just started to I strayed away from it basically, and then COVID happened and so on and so forth. So I have to go in for some. I've been dealing with other issues recently, and I have to go back next month to do a workup. So one of the things that I need to do is walk for half an hour a day. And of course I went for like an hour and 15 today. And that's what I did. I listened to a bunch of podcasts. So it's one of my excuses to go for a walk as well, is to be able to listen to different shows. A lot of times I have people say, "Hey, did you listen to this? You listen to that?" And it's like, well, part of me is I haven't had time, and the other part of me is I get jealous of other people because there are people that take an interview that I haven't. Like I had somebody send me an interview that Dino from Fear Factory did. The two times that I was supposed to interview him, he stood me up because, quote unquote, the publicist told me, "Did you wake him up from his nap?" What do you mean did I wake him up from his nap? Like, what are you talking about? And I had somebody else tell me, said, yeah, I've had the same thing happen to me before. He takes like 3-hour naps in the middle of the day, and you got to keep calling him until he wakes up, and you can do the interview with him. So I sent him a text message, and I said, dude, we had an interview today. Can we reschedule? And he's like, who are you? I'm like, the guy you're supposed to talk to today, but I was told you were taking a nap instead. And we went back and forth, and we never were able to set it up. And, he's a guy that I've always wanted to interview, but at the same time, I had this train of thought with my last job that, if you don't have time for me, I don't have time for you. My time is just as valuable as yours. And that's why I always tell you guys, I appreciate you deciding to spend time with me here or on the live stream on Fridays, or just listening, or just being on a walk and listening to listening to the podcast like Dan just said. So Brad, yeah, that's funny. So when I started walking a few years back, when I got really into it, what I would do was I would do an hour to an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours by myself. And then I'd do another hour with my family at night, because I knew that I wouldn't be able to listen to anything. So I needed to get my stuff in the morning. I needed to listen to my shows in the morning. And then I would be good to walk with them. Not that I didn't want to walk with them, but I wanted to hold a conversation with them. And for me, a hard thing, something that at least, Brad, that you get to do, is you watch a lot of baseball. I'm a huge hockey fan. And before I had kids, man, I subscribed to the NHL Network, and I was up until 5 a.m. watching games like every other night, basically. And I just stopped doing it. One, because of how much they charge now, because now it's like ESPN, who now has the rights. It's like $100 a month, where it used to be $100 for the entire season. So $100 a month is just too much. So, and the cool thing here is, since I am close to the ocean, although I'm not a fan of the beach, there are pretty cool walks along the coast, which are actually really nice. And then there are like different trails through the mountains that you can do as well. The mountains are, you could go 10 minutes in either direction of where I am. You've got either the beach or you've got the mountains. So there's plenty of places to walk. And today I had to go to the pharmacy, so I said, screw it. Instead of just doing the same old route, I'm just going to walk into the next town over and come back. And I took the long way there so that I could ensure that I walked for over an hour. And we'll see. So I'm trying to prevent that next month they tell me that I have to go on medication. So I need to drop weight, and I need to walk, to exercise, walk some. When I have enough energy, I'll drum for about half an hour. I have an electronic set that's behind me. There's actually guitars right there behind me. There are guitars and a bass to the right of me. And there's an electrical drum set to the right of me. And I'll connect my phone or an iPod and just drum away. And it's always you like to drum after a workout. I used to work out every day, but it's just time to cool. I tried to order. They had this really cool thing, Dan. I don't know if you saw it. It was a baseball shirt. It was a 3/4 sleeve shirt. It was red sleeves. The center was gray, and it had the original Armored Saint logo on it. And they were selling it with a cassette version of Symbol of Salvation. And with shipping, it was like $100 to get here. That's one of the things that I asked. That I asked Joey about, because I talked to them on Facebook about it. Yeah, of course we could do some Armored Saint trivia. I don't remember if I included any Armored Saint trivia questions or anything regarding any of the members. I think there may be a Joey one similar to one of the others where it's which of these bands has Joey not played in, because he's played in a lot of different bands. I believe there's one there. There's 50 questions that I've worked up so far, and I split them up into 10 questions apiece. So it's kind of cool that, well, I don't remember all of them, and it's kind of cool that it kind of worked out that it was 10 questions in 15 minutes, more or less. So, hey, the DVD, Brad, you can order it directly. If you go to the band's site, I believe you can order it from them or from Metal Blade. For me, I ordered it from a retailer that, it was this whole thing. It's my dumb fault, but biggest retailer here in Europe for hard rock and metal is called EMP. They're out of Germany. And so they have what's called a backstage pass, where you pay $20 a year and you get free shipping, which isn't bad because shipping costs a shit ton of money. If not, you're paying like $20 to $30 sometimes for shipping, and it takes a week to get here. So, I mean, if that were overnight shipping, I would almost not have a problem. But it's just annoying to pay that much and have something show up a week later. And so I've gotten into it with them, with Napalm Records, with Frontiers Records, with a few different labels, because the shipping has just become ridiculous. Not only the price, but they fucking take too long. And I told them, I said, look, this is, shipping, just to give you guys an idea, right? You guys are both from California. So it's like shipping from the north to the south of California and having something take a week to get there. All right. It's literally 10 hours of driving from where they're shipping in Germany to where they receive it in Spain. So there's really no excuse. I got this whole runaround like, oh, well, we need to make it count against the charts. And I was like, well, fucking send me the damn album. And then count it when you send the stuff out. I'm like, I worked in college radio in the States. We received stuff. We put it on rotation, but we didn't make it count until we were asked to make it count for a specific week. Like, there's no excuse for this stuff. Oh, well, you don't understand the stuff behind this? I'm like, well, it's ridiculous. I've talked about this. I remember, Dan, you mentioned that there was an issue with the Maiden stuff getting there a week late, but it really bugs the hell out of me. So, with Napalm, unlike in the States, well, in Europe, you have to show your prices unless you're going. Okay, so there are stores, that if you work for yourself, so like in my case, like you're a freelancer, if you own your own company, your own business, you can go to these stores and you don't have to pay for taxes. And they give you a specific price. They'll tell you, it says, it's this much for this item, and this is how much you're paying for the taxes. And then when you get the receipt, it tells you paid this much in taxes. You turn that receipt over to the person that does your taxes 4 times a year, and then they automatically refund you those taxes. Everywhere else, taxes are included in what you're paying. It isn't where you have to, add this stuff up in your head, which, I get why they do it, but I've become used to and kind of prefer them to just say, okay, no, you're paying this much, instead of figuring out beforehand, it's this much with taxes. But, Dan, yeah, thanks for being with us tonight, and we'll see you next week here. So the taxes thing, I think, kind of works better here. But what Napalm was doing is they were giving you a total price, then it said taxes, then it said shipping, and then they gave you another price, which only actually included the shipping. They didn't specify that. And so I went back and forth with them, and they told me, they said, oh, well, if you were to actually sum that up, you would get this much more. So you're not doing the math correctly. I'm like, no, you guys aren't labeling the stuff correctly. You're not saying, this is this is how much you're actually paying for the taxes on this item. So, Brad, are you still with us? Got about 10 minutes here before gonna call it the night. Okay, so Mr. Yarg Metal is there. So, quick question: the stuff from Wyoming, is that the future of Yarg Metal Central, or is that for a getaway location that you guys are looking at? Great question. So Brad doesn't even know. Aha. Well, that makes sense. How far is Wyoming from Utah? And actually, maybe you would become Nikki Sixx's next door neighbor. Well, if Shelly's convinced that the stock market is going to crash, then it only makes sense to heed Shelly's warning. And 90 minutes, that's not bad. So, I mean, if even there was a vacation place in the running there, or maybe even a Yarg Metal studio. Oh, okay. So where you're looking at is about 3 hours. Yeah. Yeah, we have people, for example, we're lucky. Okay, so you've seen my backyard. It isn't a big backyard, but we have a yard. So when COVID happened, we could go to the backyard, we could go to the front of the house, so on and so forth. There are people that I've known for years that live the next town over, which probably has about like 3,000 people. But there's a lot of like high-rise apartments, or flats as they call in the UK. So I know of people that have like these little like prefab, like almost like a shipping container type houses that are maybe like 40 minutes away, like up in the mountains where they just want to get away to peace and quiet. I kind of get it, but I don't know that I would spend that much money on that. We're so close to that where I think that you could get away. There are enough places that you can get away to on weekends or days off that you're within, that you could get there without needing to plop money down there. I don't know, but to each their own. Everyone knows what's best to do with their money. So your house is your getaway. Well, you've got a really cool house set up. I feel like every time you send new videos, there's like a new wing of the house that we discover. So it's kind of cool. But yeah, we have to figure out. I'm reaching out to a few guests probably tonight to see their availability these next few Fridays, to see where we're going to line up for The Curse of Yarg on Signals from Mars. If you're up for it. Maybe you don't... maybe you're not up for it this month. Who knows? Well, cool. The Kramer base that you took in to get reworked, what are you having changed on it? pickups. Okay. You're putting new pickups in? What kind of pickups? Ah, okay. You don't know if they're going to be active or passive or anything like that? Ah, that sucks. Because um, the guy that I would go to retired a few years back, so I know what that's like. Trying to find somebody that you rely on. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, this guy just closed down. I don't know if it was that he was done doing it or what the situation was. But yeah. So it's good to have a gear guy that you can rely on. So, okay, base hadn't been tuned up in 30 years. Wow, so I'm sure the rod is like all out of whack and everything. Aluminum neck. It's pretty intonated. Oh, wow. So it's one of the aluminum necks that Kramer put out. Gotcha. So, in any event, we're going to start to. It's full of sweat and crud. Well, that means you just played it. That's all. I'll have to show you my bases one day. And no, that isn't a euphemism like spackling your chimney, which totally was not a euphemism. But but look at it however you'd like. Ah. Been an interesting day. So, looking forward getting past a few things and moving on. But this was a good session here on Twitch. Want to thank you guys that did join us here. Metal Dan, Brad Dahl, Steve Steve Hoker. You guys were all great. There was someone else that was in here checking stuff out. Didn't chime in, but whatever. Maybe they'll want to come back next week. So, but there you go. Another fun Trivia Tuesday right here on Twitch. We'll be back next week. And you guys can try your luck once again. Tell your friends about this. Anyone you think that will enjoy doing this type of trivia show. And just talk about some hard rock and metal right here on Twitch. So, that is that, folks. It is more or less the end of the show. We'll see you on Friday. And hopefully tomorrow I'll be releasing the episode with Gary Shea of Alcatraz. And that is that. So, see ya on Friday right here. We're not, well, you can watch us here, but on the Signals from Mars live stream. But that is it. We'll see you